Hello people, how are you doing? Lord Stompy here, wishing you well, good morning, all that sort of bollocks. Now, apologies, there's some noise outside, they're building houses next door to me, but let's roll with the show. This is my first podcast in a series that I'm going to be doing on my channel, and we're going to be tackling that highly important subject, rock and roll. Oh yeah, baby. Now, I am qualified to tackle this subject. I've been in bands all my life. I'm a harmonica teacher and I'm a somewhat notorious B-grade celebrity here in my hometown of Adelaide. And I tend to stir the pot a bit, and people often think I'm some kind of opinionated bastard is the word I believe they'd use. So let's tackle the first subject of my show today, female singer syndrome. Now, the reason I'm tackling this subject is because we have drummer syndrome has been recognised in rock and roll for decades. Lead guitarist syndrome has been recognised in rock and roll for decades. Even sometimes bass player syndrome. Now, anyone who's played in rock bands knows exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about these syndromes. So sometimes we'll also have LSS, which is lead singer syndrome, but various events have happened throughout my life, and one is now currently happening to me that actually makes me believe that possibly female singer syndrome is the worst syndrome of all. Now, I haven't jumped lightly to this conclusion, so just let me run through my personal experiences quickly, and then I'll just talk about the industry in general. Then, at the end of the show, I want people to put their comments about what they've been through with female singers. Now, good or bad, I want those comments down there, because is female singer syndrome really a thing? Let's find out. So, about 15 years ago, I got some work teaching a young girl singing lessons. She was 15 years old. She had a stage mum, and she was a good kid, actually. I liked her, and I'm still in contact with her to this day. She's a nice girl. And now, I noticed straight away it was really, really tough to get this girl to sing anything that she didn't want to sing. And bear with me, I'm going to go through all the examples, but this is a number one primary problem I find with female singer syndrome. If they're snooty, basically, they're really, really snooty. If they decide they don't like a song, it's, oh man, you are pushing shit up a hill in a wheelbarrow with a flat wheel to try and get that woman to change her mind. And seriously, bear with me here. You know, I've nearly every female singer I've ever worked with has been exactly the same. Oh, that doesn't suit my voice. Oh, I don't like that song. I mean, my God, is this? Are female singers some kind of condensation of female nature personified? Of, you know, we're talking about how damn snooty and picky and choosy they can be. And it's, you know, it doesn't matter that you're a really good musician or you have a really good band and everybody else is a really good musician and all the rest of you just want to do it, and it would just be good for the whole band if you all just do that song because everyone else is keen as mustard. Now, all the men that I know, even up to a point, the lead guitarists and the insane drummers that I've worked with, there is, you know, lead guitarists are really bad for this kind of thing too. You know, if they consider a song beneath them, they'll turn their nose up. But I have found if the band consensus is really strongly against the lead guitarist, they might swear and curse a bit, but they will do the song. But no, no, not the female singer. No, they're special. They're a breed apart. There's something going on there that means that they're living in this parallel universe that's above the universe that we mortal moil. It's above the mortal coil, man. It's like you don't get it. They're a female singer. So anyway, 15 years ago, I was teaching this young girl, but she was pretty cool because I knew she was just young and she was goofy, and I could forgive her because she had this domineering stage mum who was pushing her to be famous, and she did like singing, but you could see the kid just, she didn't have this insane drive to be famous. She more just wanted to sing goofy songs and have a good time. So that was understandable, but no, the last 3 years, I have worked with 3 different female singers. The last, I've been in the music industry a long time. I've got a lot to offer. I put quite a lot into my singing personally, and I know I'm not the world's greatest singer, but I have a lot of tricks up my sleeve. I've got a really good range. I can sing tenor, and I can sing right down the bottom of baritone. My projection is excellent. My pitch is generally spot on, even if I'm not the most versatile at running up and down scales like some people are. And every time I've taken it on board to work with a female singer, I've had it all over that woman in the singing department, right? I've just, at best, that woman's competent. And so there's a lot of tricks, if they wish to, they could have learned from me. But no, it's I cannot even begin to explain this. I've taken on 3 female singers in the last 3 years or so because, one, I want to give the women a go, right? I want to give some younger woman who's not got that much experience a go. Secondly, yes, I will admit it does. There is this thing where having a female singer tends to help your show. For some reason, people are much more. People resonate much better to a female singer in general. Like you as a man, you put yourself through years and years of training, and you actually reach a reasonably high level. The majority of people in this world barely even notice if you're a man. However, and this is another problem that I think contributes to female singer syndrome, is you can get a woman on stage and she'll just be an average singer. Her presentation won't be that great. Her stagecraft will be average. But as long as she can just sort of sing in that sweet kind of middle range, not really put much projection in it. I'm just a girl in the world, you know what I mean. And as long as she can kind of do that and flutter her eyelids, my experience here in Australia is people are like, oh wow, she's awesome, she's amazing, and okay, it might be a little bit opportunistic of me to want to have a female singer in our show to mine that public vein. I openly will admit this, right? And but at the same time, what the hell is that? What is that about your average person these days? Where you know, there's meant to be all this bigotry and according to feminism, there's meant to be all this bigotry and bias that's holding women back. Well, when it comes to female singers, I've never seen that. I never in my life. I mean, you only have to look at the women that are making it to the tops of our charts in the pop industry to see how low the standard is now. And you know how low the standard of talent is, and just, you know, it's not a good thing. It's not helping women to develop their talent, to develop their craft. And if you're not helping them to do that, you're not helping them to develop their character. Because really finally honing your talent and your craft will inevitably hone your character. So, a while back, about 3 years ago, I started working with this goofy female comedian who was also a singer. Now, she was actually a pretty poor singer when I first met her. And basically her whole shtick was comedy. And I realise now the kind of comedian she was that Amy Schumer sort of comedy, where it's like, it's a bit funny, but not heaps funny. But most of her jokes relied on her being a complete bucket mouth, right? You know, being the bucket mouth, the filthy chick, basically. The libtard filthy chick. What's with that whole new persona that's invaded? That's another one that I've got to do a video on, but I'll leave that for now. She was the bucket mouth libtard chick, right? But, you know, it was three or 4 years ago. I said to her, look, I'm a guitarist. I'm a much better guitarist and singer than you. I said, how about you just get me on stage to do a few songs with you? So that will actually lift your musical standard in your shows. And she said, oh, no, great, thank you so much. And I realised, you know, she had really good projection. She's actually really confident. And I thought, this is a good thing. So I convinced her to take some singing lessons. And her voice actually picked up pretty quickly. So I thought, well, this is pretty helpful. You know, it looks hopeful. And, you know, maybe I could get her to sing some songs if she keeps improving with me as a musician. So she said that was a great idea. So, and it was just really, really bizarre. She'd get to a point where our songs were nearly gelling and stuff, and then she'd just always flake out for the next 3 or 4 weeks. She'd be like, oh, I can't make rehearsal, I can't do this. Every time she came back from being disappeared, basically our rehearsals and our songs, they'd regressed back to almost where we started. So her voice, you know, her intonation would be out all over again. So all the work that we'd put in was just getting eroded by the fact she wasn't taking any of this seriously. And I had shows and gigs that I did. Some of them she actually was able to hold her shit together and actually do a reasonable performance. Not a great performance, so she'd do a reasonable performance. People really like that. I thought this would be an incentive to her. We'd get all this good feedback. I'd say, look, you know, people like us. This is great. We can actually get money. We can get some measure of fame just doing basic songs, you and me. Do some covers, then do some of our original songs. And, you know, just go around bars, do that, and people will pay us. I cannot begin to describe how I could not get through to this woman. And, you know, it was always Yeah, and we'd have a whole set list together, and you know, we were meant to rehearse it for the week, but then she'd come back and it was all chopped and changed, and she hadn't rehearsed this and that, and but she wanted to do these new songs, and I'm like, I don't even know what these songs are, and so she's putting all this onus on me to go away and learn all these extra songs, and then half the time, 2 weeks later, she'd decide she wouldn't want to do the song, and I was really trying to get through to this woman, like how lucky she was to be working with someone like me, and the fact that people were giving her all these accolades for average comedy and very very average singing was just, it meant that she didn't have to try. In her own mind, she was like, no, I'm already getting accolades for what I do, so there's no point extending myself here. So that was that, and then after a while I realised that was a complete load of bollocks, so I gave up there. Oh no, I forgot the last and one of the worst things was she did have some really good songs she'd written herself. So first of all, I said, we're going to do a demo of a couple of your songs, then get some serious session musicians. We'll record a couple of your comedy songs, because they were really good songs, and that was one thing I liked about her. She actually was very creative. I said, let's record some of these songs, and so we made these crappy demos. Then I sent the demos off to some musicians. We arranged this. We went to all this trouble to arrange a session. We recorded with a drummer, and I played the bass, the lead guitar. I put in all this effort and this money to record these sessions. And then she got a bee in her bonnet that she wanted to release these. She was like, oh, what's happening to the song? She didn't even realise how long mixing and mastering takes. I said, we got to mix it, we got to master it, etc., etc., blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, but I want to put the songs out now. And I'm saying, well, it's going to take a month, 2 months, possibly even 3. I said, I don't know what the studio's schedule is or where they're going to fit us in. So, all of a sudden, I find out that she's taken these crappy demos we did, where I was like, but some of my guitar playing was like really out of time and bad, and her singing wasn't very good either. And she's gone and stuck a video clip up and actually sent the video clip to TV stations. And to this day, I mean, seriously, and to this day, there's this very small local TV station that still plays our god-awful video clip of the god-awful demo song. Whereas, in the meantime, that was the last straw for me. I was just left. I was like, I'm not putting in any more work for this. This is stupid, man. I don't even know what planet this person lives on, And in the meantime, the actual studio recordings, which she paid for and we went to all this work to do, are still sitting in the studio because I couldn't be bothered going back there to reclaim them, and neither she's just not bothered either. For all I know, they're actually finished now. I mean, seriously, man. So after that, I was like, well, screw that. So then there's this young girl that I knew. She was actually a much better singer. I thought, well, she's 17 years old. She's actually really showing a lot of promise, a lot of talent. So I thought, look, she's almost never been on a stage before. So I asked her if she wanted to sing with me. It was the same. She said, oh, yeah, great. Yeah, I've always wanted to sing. I actually got some really good shows really quickly, and she was I thought there was a lot more hope there because she was actually, going to singing lessons, putting in the effort. But and it was and that was the kind of person I wanted. Someone that we could, just get the hard work out the way really fast. Just hone our skills, put the dedication in. But then suddenly, no. So I don't like this song. I don't like that song. And it was like, I don't like this show. I don't want to do that. I'm like, what? You're 17 years old. You've never done shows really as such. Then I'm getting you like in front bars around the place and a funeral. So I actually got her at a funeral of someone really, really popular. There was literally like about 400 or 500 people there. We played like 2 songs, and this guy was a friend of mine, man. I was I cannot begin to tell you. And suddenly it all wasn't good enough, and I just remember she was quite talented as well at writing songs. So I was like, look, let's. And she's just, the nitpicking she was doing. I don't like this word. I don't like that. Can we change this? I don't mind some constructive criticism, but this was just like, oh my God. It's just nitpicking with a fine comb. So in the end, she just disappeared as well. That was another too hard basket. And then, so with my latest band now, Iron Dwarf, there's one of the other guys in the band's had this. There's been this woman hanging around the edge, and he keeps saying, "Oh, she's an all right singer. She wants to sing with the band." Now this is rehearsals, so I'm all for anybody at a rehearsal showing us what they've got. So I'm like, "There's a microphone. There's a microphone right there." I was saying to the woman, right. Look, we've got all these instrumental songs. There's no lyrics to them, right? Write whatever you want, sing whatever you want. Just ad-lib whatever comes into your head to show us what you got. So, nothing. Absolutely nothing, So this has been going on for months. Then finally, and I just didn't bother. I don't even really care. It's just, but she's a singer. Yeah, I'm like, there's a mic. Like, let her show us what she's got. It's like, finally, after months of this, a single ukulele song comes out. I was like, she can actually sing. That's all right. So I told her, I said, look, you can actually sing. I don't know what the problem is. Just get up on a mic and at rehearsal, you can just do anything. The rehearsals are there for you to get things wrong and just to experiment, right? So finally, the other day, I just bit the bullet, and I sent her Jimi Hendrix's Manic Depression. And I said, look, I want the band to do this song. I said, absolute classic. You're doing Jimi Hendrix, and I said, it would be fantastic. I said, I'll be playing harmonica all the way through this song, so I won't be able to sing it live. If you just want to step up to the plate and do that. Next thing, I get this text back saying, oh no, that's not my style at all. That when women do that, it's not my style at all. Oh yeah, there's this specific style that's just tailored to you, and the whole band has to adjust, right? All right, I see what's going on here. All right, it's women singers. This is what they do. I've known so many women singers who do this, and it's not just me. I've been talking to some of my friends in other bands, and they've one of my friends is in a funk band called Big 70s Bush, and he's been auditioning singers for about 2 years. And he's literally kicked 3 female singers out the band, and exactly this. They start saying, oh, like, your band, like, your songs here, they don't suit my style. I'm like, honey, the band has been around for years. They've been doing that for years. And you've joined them, and suddenly you're telling them that they have to change for you. This is my number one beef. with female singer syndrome. Is like, yeah. Apparently, the world revolves around the female singer. Never mind the fact that all the guys in the band they've all put in years of dedication and hard work, and then you just get this average hussy that just breezes in and just like, oh, well, guys, like, what you're doing's not really my thing. Like, you've just got to adjust it all for me because I'm a girl. I mean, seriously, this is pretty much the standard behaviour from women, female singers these days. It's standard. So, and this is our band. You know, I sent her Jimi Hendrix. Oh, Jimi Hendrix isn't good enough. You know, that's it. We're some of the best musicians in Adelaide on our instruments. We're doing one of the best the best and most well-known musicians of all time. Oh, that's not good enough. It's not my thing. It was so hard for me to restrain my tongue because I do tend to say what I think and it gets me in trouble. I sent her a text saying, I have been singing for 20 years. I sing cover songs that I'm not particularly keen on. I even sing some of my own songs that I'm a bit sick of, that I wrote in the past, that I'm a bit over now. I sing those songs because it makes people happy. The fact that I don't really like those songs that much just means that I basically reinterpret them to suit me. This is the art that you're here to learn as a singer. Okay, something might not be your style. You have to learn how to make it your style. This is something I've spent years doing. Right? You know, I've got a lot of original... Yeah, I'd love just to play all my original songs and for all the world to love me. But quite often, the people in the audience don't even know my songs, so I have to throw in a cover song every now and again that they know, so that they all keep tuned into me. They, you know, it gives them some reference so that they know there's something that they can relate to. And you know, sometimes I don't want to do that cover song. So I didn't write it. You know, I don't even particularly like it anymore. You know, it's just something I know that will make people happy. So, but then this was the cincher, right? This was the absolute cincher. Was next thing she sends me this video with this really technically, well, just this really high level old school R&B singer. Oh my God, you know, it was, this woman was belting it out and she's, you know, doing reasonably hard scale runs and, you know, just all this balls and sass in the song. And she's like, I want to do songs like this. She wants to do songs like that. Jimi Hendrix isn't good enough for her. You know, she's never sung in a band before, but all of a sudden she wants to be Miss R&B Queen. Alright? Yeah. No, so, and this is the problem. I mean, what this has led to is, you know, these really average singers with, these really average female singers, they don't have much charisma. They really lack on the, most female singers these days lack on the charisma front. If you look at the old classics, Janis Joplin, Edith Piaf, all those people, you knew that that was somebody who deserved to be famous just from the way they behaved on stage. Now you're looking at these tryhards like Lana Del Rey, and a whole bunch of people I have no interest in. I mean, we have these people called the Audreys here in Australia with one of those very average female singers with absolutely no charisma. And before they even got famous, I got into a run-in with them. And that was merely... I didn't even say anything particularly disparaging to them. was just I actually supported them in the early days, funnily enough, because they're a small pub band, and I thought give the girl a go. You know, I didn't know that they'd end up becoming this pretentious globalist monstrosity of mediocrity that they have, and this is part of the problem with the female singer syndrome is all these very mediocre female performers have risen to the top of the industry, and they're now the level that all these new women aspire to. They look to them as the pinnacle of human achievement. It's just woeful, man. I mean, seriously, is it just me, or does every bloody woman now want to be some breathy R&B star? Oh my God, I love you, baby. Oh, 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 oh. And it sounds like all these women these days need Ventolin. They all got breathing problems. It sounds to me like they've got the microphone stuck nearly up their nose most of the time. And you take it back to the classics like Edith Piaf or Janis Joplin, two of my favourite singers. Man, the microphone when they were on stage was like 6 feet away. Their projection and their confidence was so extreme. They were the kind of people that would blow the microphone up, man. Like, seriously. So, you know, there's only one female singer I will work with at this stage, and she's actually technically not good at all. And there's a reason I am working with her, is because she just does whatever it takes. So she's pitchy. She's not that good a singer, and I won't use her for really high level gigs, but just she's not pretentious, and she's got that willing attitude. As she'll get up, and I can guarantee that because she's got a willing attitude, and she just gets up on stage and has fun. That's right. She treats it like it's a performance. That means she treats it like it's fun. She knows she's there to entertain people, right? So despite the shortcomings that are there, on the lower level, more community and pub gigs, I'm totally happy to have her up there because people like that sort of thing. They enjoy when somebody's entertaining and that person gives it a go, and that's a whole combination of factors that most modern female singers, the new ones especially, have forgotten about. They've got this pretentious idea that they've got to be this front person right from the get-go. And it's like, no, when you're learning your craft, you just have to do whatever it takes. I was in shit cover bands at the start of my career, and I was learning bass back then, right? And I was in bands I didn't even like, but I was like, at least I'm on a stage playing gigs. That's how I saw it. I'm playing songs I don't like. I'm playing in a band with people I don't like. At least I'm up here playing shows, and I'm making people happy, right? And I knew it was all part of the learning curve, right? These modern women, almost to a T, they've got no experience. They get up there thinking that they're some R&B queen or some queen bee that all the rest of the universe has to buzz around, because basically all a woman has to do these days is get on stage and kind of mumble incoherently into a microphone, and people tell her how fantastic she is. And then on top of that, there's just almost no respect or regard for the solid, hard-working musicians who back these people up. And then people wonder why I'm MGTOW, right? It's completely obvious why I'm MGTOW. If you get me to sit you down and explain the 101 reasons why, there's many, many areas in life where females do actually have far more privilege than men. and female singer syndrome is just one of these areas, then you'll see why I am such an opinionated bastard about such matters. Now, that's me signing out on this issue. Thanks for tuning in for so long, and I will see you chickens pretty soon. God bless. Take care.